Okay, since the last video, we stopped at adding the last record into the visit table, and at that time then you would click the Save button, and when you do that, or Save here, and when you would do that, a Save As dialog box would come up where you then name the table what you want to call it, instead of accepting the default name table 1 or table 2 or whatever it might be. But because I had to end the session, you weren't able to see that, and so I left it at the default name, table 1, and we'll go in and change that name now. So the easy way to do that is to go over to your Access Objects panel there, and we can point to table and right click on it, and we can rename that. And right now, if I have this open, it says you can't rename the database object table 1 while it's open. Close the database object and then rename it. So we're going to say OK. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to close this, and I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to say close. Okay. Now if I go over to my objects pane, I can right click, say rename, and it highlights table 1, and I just type in visit and enter. Okay. So there we are. We have now named our table accordingly. Now we want to add some additional records to the visit table. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So what we need to do then is open this table. The easy way to do that is once you have your database open, excuse me, double click the name of the table that you want to work with. That opens this table up. Notice that you do have the new record selector here. So if I want to add a new record, I'm going to start at the Visit ID field. I'm going to click in that for the new record. Okay. And so here I'm going to type in 1527, and I can just tab over. All right. And actually 1527 is incorrect, so let me go back and take that out. 1527, it should be 1548. So see how I can go in and click back in that column into that particular box or cell there, and I can click at the end, get the insertion point, and backspace that out and retype what I want to go in there, and it's all perfectly good. Now I'm going to tab over again. Okay, the patient ID number will be 22519. And I'm going to tab over. The date 11/30, that's 2015. Okay. And the reason is going to be hypertension. And is this a walk-in? No, it's not, because you can see that the visit date is scheduled for in the future. Okay. So we're going to tab on down and go to the next line and add another record, 1560, and this is going to be patient 22514, and they will have an appointment on 12/15/2015, influenza, okay, and walk-in, yes. So how do I check? Spacebar, okay. All right then. So when you've added those last two records, you should now have a total of 11 records. Is that correct? Well, actually, let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but the new record down here is 11. So you'll notice that I'm at record 11 of 11. I really only have 10 visit records. But once I tab down or I press enter and move down to this next row, then we're at a new record. So if I look down here, I'll see 11 of 11. If I click back up here on this row somewhere, notice what happens down here, record 10 of 10. Okay? Alright. So, if I want to close this object, notice I have a close button here and I have a close button here. The innermost close button closes the objects within your database. I only have one object open in my database because I only have one created. And when I hover my pointer over top of that X, notice a little tooltip or screen tip comes up that says close visit, and it'll go away after a few seconds. So I'm going to close this. Okay, and so that's closed now. So if we look at that, then how do we open the visit table? We go back over here and we double click, and there you go. And here you get the real picture of how many records you have now. 1 of 10. So what that's saying right there is we currently are at record 1 of 10. You've got to see what your current record is. See how the row selector here or the record selector is highlighted. Okay, so we are at record 1. Alright, so we look at this as the current record box. Alright, so we want to close the visit table again. Do you remember how to do that? Here we go. To enter X to close visit. We're going to do that. Alright. Now, let me open that back up. Suppose I had clicked on the program close button right up here. If I do that, close, it closes the table, but it also closes the Access program itself. Okay? So, let's go on and look at some more of the activity in the chapter. Now suppose I want to copy records from the appointment table into my Access database. Well, so copy records from another Access database. If we look at the example that's given in your textbook, we're going to look at how to open other files and how to get to, in this case, a database called Cindy, and open that up and work with the data that's in that. We're going to copy the data records that are in that, okay? And then we will get that into the Chatham database. So, what is it we want to do? We want to open Access 2013. So, I'm going to choose the program button on my desktop. I'm going to choose Access 2013. This opens back up to your database program or application initial screen. Okay, so we want to choose Open Other Files down here because, see, I don't have anything in my recent list for me to work with. So Open Other Files, and here I want to locate the one called Cindy. So I'm going to choose to look at computer here, and I'm going to choose browse, and you have to know where you have saved your data files. I know where mine are, so I'm going to go down here to mine. Now yours may be in another location, so you have to determine where yours are. Okay, so I'm going to where my data files are. I've got a long ways to go. This tutorial, and I'm finally at Cindy. Now I know I went through that a little fast, but that's because yours is not going to be in the same location. So you have to identify where yours is. Yours may be on your jump drive. Mine was on my hard drive. So I'm going to say open, and it's going to open that up. Sometimes you get a security warning here when you open up the database. I'm going to say enable content because I know this is something I want to work with. Alright, so once that opens up, if we look over here at our navigation pane, we see the appointment table. I want to open that up. So how do I do that? Open that up. Well, we have a lot of records, don't we? Notice that it's 1 of 76 down here. Okay, so what we want to do is click the data sheet selector to the left of the visit ID field, which we're talking about this right here. Okay, we're going to click on that, and that highlights every record in the table at one time. Okay, and so from here I'm going to say copy, and so a copy of everything that is selected or highlighted goes to Windows Clipboard, where when we get ready to paste anything, whatever is the most recent thing in the clipboard is what will be pasted. Okay, so we've done that. We can now close this table. Okay, alright, so we're going to close the table, and we said yes, it was okay that we would lose some of what we were viewing at a time, but it's okay because we have what we want. So now we want to go to the File tab, and here we want to look at what's called the backstage view, and so we see compact and repair, encrypt, and so on. Let's see, make sure I'm in the right place with you all. Okay, here I want to choose open. Okay, and I want to work with my Chatham, the one that has my last name and first initial on it, so I'm going to choose that. I'm going to open it back up. Okay, and I'm going to open up the visit table. Hopefully, there we go. And so I'm going to, over on the navigation pane, click the shutter bar open and close button, which is here. Okay, and then I will position the pointer on the star record for the new record. Okay, and then by doing that, I am now at record or row number 11, and I'm going to go up here to my home tab, which is right there, and I'm going to choose paste. And here, what is it I want to paste? This is going to be an append, which means it adds onto it. So I'm going to say append. And you're about to paste 76 records. Are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I do. Okay. Alright. So once I do that, then how many records do I now have? Okay. I have 86 records. There were 76 in the appointment table of the Cindy database. We added that to appended those records to the 10 records we already had in the Chatham database in the visit table. So we went from 10, added 76 more records, so now we're at a total of 86 records. Okay. Now, we also have a navigation bar down here that lets us move from one record to another. If I go up here to the first record, let me get up there if I can. I'm at the first record, so it says I'm at 1 of 86. I want to go to the next record. Notice where I am down here. We're pointing to the next record arrow. That'll then move me down to the next record. If I go down here and click again, that moves me down to the next record. If I click on this says last record, it's going to take me to the 86th record, way down here. If I click this first one here, it's going to take me all the way to the first one. And guess what? If I go in here and I type in 30, it takes me to the 30th record. I'm at record 30 of 86. So just a quick way to maneuver through the records of any table there. Okay? So we should be good with that.